Most of the quants are either doing something in crypto or thinking about it. Yes, he's like a very sharp businessman, obviously. One of the best businessmen of the last 20 years, probably. You know, so smart. I think when most people say smart, they mean technical more than they mean shrewd. Shrewd is different from smart, I think. Yeah, Peterfee is the guy. Yeah, I don't think the Lewis book is very good. Fidelity kind of just owns everything. I don't think there's an index fund bubble. I don't necessarily agree with that concept. Yeah, I did do the coffee hour thingy. Coffee, is that what it's called? Nothing's weirder than Adam Friedland's podcast name, though. I kind of think podcasts are like really corny. I really just don't want to do any. But if like the person seems really interesting or it like is good for my interests, then like, I know you guys want me to look at Nectar. I will, I promise. Yeah, there's supposed to be a bunch of AI releases coming soon. It's going to be a big year for AI. Does not include AI 16Z. Correct.
AI 16Z, it's fake. Quantum computing, they tell me about it. I said when Barron's using it to play Minecraft, then we'll buy some. Until then, we'll stick with Jensen. Jensen NVIDIA. Who's the guy that Elon hates? Sam Altman? Yeah, him too.
Once IONQ had its good news and started going down, that's when we kind of said it was over, right? That's my baggie impression. That's when the baggie realizes he made a mistake. I thought this was the future of computing. NVIDIA's 3 trillion. IONQ's 6 billion. So I thought if I put $5,000 in IONQ, hold on, let me do some baggy math. 3.4 trillion. Okay. IONQ is the next NVIDIA. It's 7.7 billion. That's 441 times my money. Shorty. I put $5,000 in. That's $2 million, shorty. Let me check the stock price. When is it gonna go up? It's quantum, it's better. I'm here for the long run. I don't care if it goes to 3, I'll buy more. I think they're suppressing it. It wants to go up, but the institutions want it to go down so they can get in for cheap. Oh well, I'll just wait.
It's a movie theater company, very advanced technology. Should be $1,000 a share. Keep splitting and reverse splitting, and I don't know why.
You know what? Actually, if you see this AMC chart, you see that? What was that? $12?
That was where it's supposed to be, but then the institutions stopped it. You have an opinion on this?
Well, we can't let AMC become the world's largest company. If we let it become the world's largest company, well then Tesla won't be the world's largest company. We can't let them do that.
And stop going to the movies, everyone. It's now illegal.
I do think meme coins are good shorts. I think their IRR is really high. I think that one of the downsides of meme coins is that the places you can short tend to want to extend you lots of leverage. And you just have to just flat out deny that. Yeah, it does feel like that way. Yeah, Meta's, it's not deep value. Meta got like super cheap 2 years ago and I pounded the table on it. We're Spring Boot backend. Kafka, very heavy on Kafka.
Yeah, I mean, the PEs work with the banks pretty closely. Find some baggies to take their stuff.
Yeah, if you get IVVD below $1, that's pretty good. It got a little too hot when I tweeted about it.
Yeah, I'm still short D-Wave, yeah. You gotta love the baggies taunting you on these things. Like somebody was like, you're playing with fire with D-Wave. Like, what are you talking about? You're playing with fire.
What? Thanks for the input. I'll take that into consideration. Do we even have a D-Wave model? Oh yeah, we do. I never really considered these guys like even worth. I can't believe, man. 1.6 billion market cap. Look at the revenue for D-Wave. 8 million in revenue. Godell's about to surpass D-Wave. 1.6 billion market cap. Okay. I take that valuation. This is their first 10Q. I'm just trying to figure this out. Oh yeah, we're still short IONQ. The banana depends on what I'm trying to do and accomplish. If I'm going for moonshots, then I'll leverage up. I mean, with leverage, you could do anything, you know, but generally you're just going to go broke. But I turned 60K to $1 million with leverage on one of the crypto exchanges. Like, you know, the same leverage is going to take you to zero. So, you know, you just got to be really careful. And the same thing applies in the stock market. You can lever up as much as you want in the stock market, and it's more dangerous than anything else. But if that's what you want, go for it, you know? Okay, so D-Wave was 6.3 million, 7.2, 8.9, and 8.4. But they're not building a full quantum computer. They just build this like weird little machine. They lose 50 to 100 a year. No, we're too small to go public. Only, you know, a lot of these guys need capital. When's Chegg reporting? I'll look at Chegg next quarter. I've done some pretty big trades. Who sold what for 25 million? Are they moving to gate-based? Yeah, they're doomed. It's crazy. It's like SMCI, right? Like SMCI just gives you 2 ways to win, but IONQ has only given us 1 way to lose until now. Now I'm seeing this. I think IONQ is worth like 2, maybe 1. It's complete trash, man. And my stocks are free falling. I would agree with you that, you know, going way below Willow prices would be weird. But I also think that IONQ will be, over time, like people will see that IONQ is actually not that different from Rigetti. They've just been like very good at like sales, but like at the end of the day, you need substance too. So like they get people to demo quantum computer, but like these aren't customers that like come back or like, and a lot of times they're paying for them. They're paying them to demo it. It's like they're basically giving them a deal that's so good that they're like, all right, yeah, Galactin of Quantum is definitely 𝗧. 𝗧 and QUBT are like QUBT is just straight scamming. IONQ wasn't founded by ex-Google guys. IONQ was founded by Chris Monroe from University of Maryland, who, you know, is arguably better than the next Google guy. Chris is like serious quantum guy, very sophisticated. The problem is this industry isn't very valuable. Quantum mechanics is one of the most important discoveries in reality and physics and human civilization since the dawn of man. It just doesn't mean that we can necessarily use quantum mechanics and quantum effects to do computation a lot faster in a lot of domains where it's going to be very, very useful. You know, there'll be some way to make money off of it, but like, is that time now? And is that company one of these companies? And is the price you're paying the right amount? Those are the things that are really important to think about. I don't know if it'll be till 2050 or not, but I think the question is like, is it going to be like NMR? NMR is a really advanced, complicated method. There's really nothing like it. But the NMR, the market that NMR addresses is like pretty small. The amount of times you actually need NMR, not that much. So like the biggest NMR company is worth a couple billion. And that technology is kind of mature at this point. So like that's quantum's kind of best outcome theoretically. I mean, there's better outcomes I can imagine, but that's mostly their best outcome. Yeah, I'm still short SMCI. I think quantum happens before cold fusion, but always 10 to 15 years away. But you know, that was AI too, and AI did come through. I think BBAI is a sell. I'm not really sure that's a growing and valuable company. VKTX is, you know, it's like it goes in the same category for me as Antilia. It's just this stock that's been a dog that, you know, I have to admit that, you know, I've called it wrong. And usually when you make a call, you're just wrong. And it's good to admit you're wrong and move on. You know, there's no sense in, and you don't always have to know why you're wrong. Sometimes you just are wrong. And it's something that'll be revealed to you later, you know, and you just, that's the beauty of markets, is that they have a lot of knowledge and information that are sort of almost a super intelligence. So if a stock's going down, it keeps going down, it keeps going down, you know, you end up in a situation where, you know, the market is telling you something. Now, that's not always true, as Andy points out. It's not always true. Sometimes the market's wrong and you're right. But And that's kind of what separates conviction and a good idea from, just trading. And because if you have a lot of conviction and it's a good idea, you say, no, this is a buy. You got to double down, et cetera, et cetera. You call the other side names. You say, you'll see when the data comes out, it'll fail, or when they have the next quarter, it'll be really nice. But if you don't have conviction, you're sort of like, man, I'm holding the bag here. I got to get out. And that's fine. We take shots, we miss. So I don't like to dwell on like a lot of the mistakes I make. I just like to move on. Because there's always another stock and you can't get them all right. It's the people who latch on that end up being the baggies, right? I mean, I get stuff wrong all the time. I don't know if you could call it false positive. It's not diagnostics. Yeah, I look into how much a CEO is getting paid, but it's not easy because the stock option valuation is often a little hard to parse. People are like, why are you long Palantir? It's like, it's a momentum stock. It's good hedge. You're getting momentum factor. You're left with pure alpha, and Palantir's outperformed. Like IONQ's kind of been stuck in a rut, whereas Palantir's gone up a lot. No real conclusion on TTD. I mean, I don't really know the stock. HIMS has really good momentum. But, momentum stocks, the more they grow, the harder they fall when they do have a setback. So you gotta be pretty careful. But, company can do no wrong. I haven't looked at Nectar yet. I got a lot going on. I really want to program more than I want to look at stocks so I can give you guys some nice features. I did buy puts. No, it just looked particularly weak. And the puts were like very out of the money. Like I bought 34 puts for 20 cents and 32 puts for 2 cents on IONQ. Yeah, usually you take the deal. I didn't want to take the deal. It was just general principle for me. Now they were going to give me, so I had like two crimes on my sheet. One was related to my hedge fund. One was related to my drug company. I knew 100% I was innocent in my drug company. So if they gave me a plea deal just for the hedge fund, I probably would have taken it if it was a good deal. But I did not. I was not going to take something on my drug company because I really just did nothing wrong there. Hedge fund was like, depending on how you look at it, 50-50. But I didn't think I did anything wrong there either. But I could understand NVIDIA's like, I wouldn't be that bullish because like, even though it's the only company that everyone's talking about, they're still going to be buying a ton of money, they're still going to be buying a ton of chips from them. I still kind of think that, I don't know, that like there's a chance people change their mind. Well, state is different. State you can beat. Yeah, blue, I think we're moving to 50K for minimums now. It's just a lot of paperwork for 25K. Personally, I like 25K because I don't really care. I don't have to do the paperwork. But my colleagues are complaining. Squeeze the shorties. Shorty's gonna burn. That's also one of my favorites. Like, what? Are you burning me? How are you gonna burn me? Of course, I like longs. I made more money longs than shorts, I think. Rigetti is, I'm starting to wonder if Rigetti is the better short of the bunch. They've all kind of behaved the same, so there's still time to modulate. I was mostly like, I was 50-50 sometimes with IONQ. Now I'm wondering, just like maybe I should spread it out a little bit more, especially with the, no, Rigetti popped, I think Rigetti popped the most, percentage-wise, I think so. I'm starting to wonder if, spread it around. QUBT is a really good one. Yeah, I wonder if Rigetti's better. I think for me, the lesson is about, and I'm surprised I'm still learning lessons, 20 years investing professionally. I guess the lesson is about what do you want your portfolio to accomplish, right? Like that's ultimately the question. Because at a certain point, you know what you're going to get with your positions. You know what's risky and what isn't. Now some people still have to learn that part. But for somebody like me, I know what I'm signing up for. Like, there's no surprise, that when you leverage, you could get smoked. And so The question is like, if you ask yourself, what do you really want out of your portfolio? Everyone wants gains, of course. No, that's easy to do. Who doesn't want gains? The question is, what do you want vol-wise and drawdown-wise? Right? At Millennium, for example, they've had these good returns, great returns, kind of the best returns. 20 years, only one down year. Not eye-popping in terms of average was 12%, but almost no downside. So the question is, what is the maximum amount you're willing to lose in your account? And if you say, I'm willing to lose it all, do you really mean that? That's the question. Is that actually true? Because let's say, in my case, you turn 100K to 2.5 million. Do you really want to lose the 2.5 million? Is that okay? And my philosophy is this is a YOLO portfolio, so you got to keep YOLOing. But then the question becomes, is it really a good idea? Now again, I'm in a different position from a lot of people, but even for me, I've seen billionaires cry over 100K. But it's still like, keeping your wits about you is one of the hardest things to do investing. Oh, there's a lot of ways to cap that loss. And yes, it takes a lot of work to get there. Even if it didn't, even if you just shorted some meme coins on leverage and made 30x, okay, now you're sitting on some numbers, say 5 million. The question becomes like, you have to keep your wits about you to say, hold on, let me take my money off the table. I don't want this risk. I don't want this level of risk. There's no great utility, Luke. I think part of it is knowing the industry. You want to be in hedge funds, you got to know a lot about hedge funds. I think it would help. The players, the people, the lore. It'll help you a little bit, but for some people, they want to invest in hedge funds or they allocate to hedge funds. But, if you're a stock picker, it's good to know who's who. Yeah, the Alien Ad Firm cover is just incredible. The Alien Ad Firm was pretty good. Yeah, we've already doubled the price. We tripled the price of Goodell already. You think I'm gonna stop? You think I'm gonna stop raising prices? 13 billion cap. Okay. Relatively young company. 388 in cash. A little more than that. 103,699. Marketable securities 78,317. 264,527. Convertible promissory note 174 million. They segregate interest payable. Yeah, it looks a little rich. I just don't know the business. Genomics. Data and services. Well, genomics isn't growing, or at least I don't think it is. It's pretty low margin. Let's see what cash flow looks like. Taiwan Semi is not that significant relative to NVIDIA. We have a great chip industry. NVIDIA's the industry. NVIDIA, AMD. So I don't know why blaming Taiwan makes any sense. We can compete. Every company has its supply chain. It's not like it's some bad thing. Okay, cash flow is still deeply negative for these guys. It looks like they pre-announced 200 revs. It's always hard to short something that's growing, but it does look like eventually this thing will. All it takes is one quarter where they kind of stumble, and then it's all over. Some gap issues here. Oh yeah, BitTensor is a great short. It's gonna take some time though. There's so many believers. Crypto is all about distribution. Can I get this token into a lot of people's hands? Doesn't matter if the token's useful or does something or there's something intelligent to it. Nothing to do with it. What's delayed? No, Nancy Pelosi's not an investor. Come on. Yeah, it looks pretty overvalued. Pretty hard to short. The growth just keeps going. Oh, people are resigning from the Justice Department after the Mayor Adams thing. Oh, we don't want to drop the charges. That was a dip France. I don't know why coin dropped. It's back though. Rocketing right back. I mean, if it was in the press release, people digest these press releases pretty quickly. It could just be a liquidity thing where one fund wanted to sell and one fund wanted to buy. I don't get how valuable. What's BitPay? Is it some crypto thing? Nobody uses crypto for payments. So, I mean, Moderna earnings are less important these days because of COVID, and Pfizer already kind of reported. So we have a good sense of what. So I doubt it'll move the stock much. I think, the GPU guys, I mean, the DeepSeek stuff is causing some caution. I wouldn't call Nebius a startup. It's a $15 billion company. Is it really just Yandex? I mean, it's cloud computing. Demand for GPUs is a pretty big deal. Yeah, it's kind of a Yandex spin out. Yeah, I mean, the biggest part of their company is the GPU cluster. Yeah, no, Nebius is just, I mean, I think most people think of it as just a cloud. Will that cloud be like CoreWeave or Lambda or something? Why would I buy Tempus? It's I just told you, it's very expensive. I think it's always this way in a bubble or in good times. In good times, the old saying is cash is trash. In hard times, cash is king. Just the nature of the beast, baby. Broadcom is bigger than Taiwan Semi. Interesting. Not this data. This is not that. I mean, it's nothing to do with Nancy Pelosi. It just, that stock looks overvalued. I mean, I don't think anybody should be thinking about Nancy Pelosi stock picks. It's just foolish. Why would there be a joke? Taiwan Semiconductor is one of the biggest companies. Is that on Semiconductor? Don't know it. She outperforms everyone? What are you talking about? That's her performance? Or is that what you've... Unless you know her account balance, how do you know her performance? It'll all come crashing down soon. I can't wait. How many years of data do we have? Hedge funds, you need at least 5 years of data before you can really take an investor seriously. And you need to know their whole portfolio construction, interview them. You guys are just noobs if you're worried about what Nancy Pelosi's doing. I couldn't laugh harder. What are you saying, Ice Water? You're hoping for that? Me too. I just hope you're not saying that a deal is out. A big tiger cub is saying correction's coming. I thought that was interesting. Is Netflix bigger than Disney now? Wow. That's crazy. That was not the case. Or maybe that's been the case for a while, actually. The price of a company will always be tied to the amount of earnings that it makes. Whether that's cash flow, earnings years from now. You can define it compared to mean. You can look at the S&P 500. You can look at the Russell PE. There's a lot of ways to look at it. Everyone looks at all of it. Spotify's gone up like 6x in the last... Wow. It'd be interesting to have like the expressivity of Excel with the scale of SQL. It's just funny how many layers there are, whether it's JSON, CSV, Excel, SQL, even different stream Postgres and Mongo. AlphaFold isn't that useful. The bigger problem with bigger bottlenecks in pharma are not crystallography. They're much more experimentation related. Yeah, can't do AI clinical trials. You can't do AI lab experiments. I like looking through lists of companies. Same way, you might, if you like cars, you might like look through a nice, catalog of cars. Or this is like the same thing to me. Some people like to go shopping. You'll see all the nice clothes on Madison Avenue.